Well, and other projects that you've been involved with is that you actually started your own podcast with your girlfriend called She Does Stand Up Too, in which you provide a lot of great information for people who are wanting to become comedians. So, can you just share what can listeners really get out of that podcast?
Yeah, so we started to stand up. So I've been doing comedy for 9 years, and she's been doing comedy for like 1 or 2. No, it's I'm nearing. Yeah, I'm 9. She's a COVID adjustment, you could say 1, but she's always been interested in doing it. She had an improv background before we met, but she
Hmm.
started after me, and we have enough of a distance between us that it's not there's no competition, so we can really step back, and there's no like I can just say, "Hey, I'm better than you at this," and she's not going to take offense to that. Like, or she'll trust my advice a little more. So we kind of use it as um, kind of a scrapbook, not a scrapbook, a time capsule of
Okay.
her growth through it, because it's so fun to watch someone do all that. Again, from a later perspective, and we have great guests, and yeah, we just look at what she's doing, and a lot of what it is I get to help her skip some of the messier mistakes. She'll
Hmm.
obviously still make mistakes, and I'm not gonna like unopen any door. I'm not gonna open any doors for her that she hasn't earned on her own. But
Yeah.
just getting to rewatch it, I feel like I'm giving better advice than I would just
Oh, yeah.
if you asked me what advice do you have for a young comedian. I'd probably forget all the stuff a young comedian is actually dealing with. Whereas when I get to see her do it, it leads to really good advice and really good stories.
And something I really saw that's really cool that you do, and I saw the Instagram profile on it too, is that you actually do a lot of clay making. So, how'd you get into that?
I started when I was really young. I started when I was like 5. My parents bought it for me, and I had just like white sculpey clay, and started making stuff as a kid. I think a lot of kids do that, but my parents, I would want toys, and my parents. So my friend, his parents bought him every toy he wanted, and my parents didn't like the instant gratification of that. So they would either not buy me the toy or make me wait. So to compete with my friend's toy collection, I would sculpt the characters that he had as toys. And I would get really annoyed when his toys were way better than my sculptures. So I got very intense about making them more and more realistic looking. And I did that probably through like middle school. And then I didn't do it very much in high school or college. And then after a breakup, when I was in my early 20s, after a breakup, I started sculpting again because I had nothing else to do. And I would say through the course of my 20s and to now, I've been just doing it very regularly and trying to improve and trying to make my own characters. So it's very satisfying and will never be monetizable in any way. So that's it's nice knowing doing something that you know you'll never get paid for.
I've heard you mention it before, and I definitely see it. It's kind of like Pokemon influence on your
Yes,
sculptures.
Pokemon heavy. I've been Adventure Time is really seeping into what I do. So a lot more Adventure Time.
I heard you mention, Pokemon a lot before. So, are you a fan of Pokemon yourself?
Yes, more of the art than the games. I play Pokemon Go. I haven't played an actual Pokemon Go game since. I mean, I played the originals. I played like Snap and Stadium Blue and Gold, but I haven't played one of the longer adventure games in a while because I know how addicted I would get to it. And yeah, I play Pokemon Go a lot right now. I play it every day because it's a good way to stay versed in all of the new Pokemon because I still love that. I mean, whenever a new generation drops, I always look through all the designs. Very very inspiring.
You know, I miss the good old days. I mean, was a Pokemon fan when it first came
Mhm,
to the US, and I miss the good old days when it was just 150 Pokemon out, and it was just red
mhm,
and blue for the Game Boy games, but then, like,
mhm,
expanded to all the different colors, and I've heard, like, a younger generation talk about, like, Pokemon and all the different colored, different types
mhm.
of games, but when I told them that it was, like, all I know is red and blue, like, they made me feel like I was the old guy in the group.
Yeah, you're my age. That was what I played too. Now they have so many generations. I don't know. I think there might be 1,000 Pokemon by now.
Oh,
That would make
man.
sense. Like 800, 900. Let's see.
Do you have a
Is
favorite
it red,
Pokemon?
blue, or ruby, sapphire? Not a single favorite. I mean, Mewtwo will always be. I know it's not a great answer, but Mewtwo is still one of my favorites, and Mew.
A popular one is like Pikachu, and everyone, loves Pikachu
Yeah.
because, the cuteness. But if you don't know, like if you're not familiar with Pokemon, he can turn into Raichu, and like that's a strong Pokemon.
So I think the people hate on Raichu. I like the design of Raichu quite
Oh
a
yeah.
bit. I think it's a really good looking Pokemon. Did you know there was supposed to be a third evolution? They
Oh
released
no,
there was this dump of old documents and files
oh,
um, for like early Pokemon, and you saw all these Pokemon that they made but never made it into the game. And there was apparently a character named Gorochu that
hmm.
was the third in line. That was like
Oh man.
red with horns and smoke. There was an evolution of Raichu, but it offset the symmetry of the game was
Oh
the
man.
reasoning. And then in the next generation, they introduced Pichu, who was a pre-evolution of Pikachu, and I don't think they allow for evolutionary lines of four. So we'll never know what it looked like.
So besides Pokemon, something that really is really cool that you do, and you kind of use your own artistic skills on it, is your Monday Pundays project. So do you mind
Mhm.
sharing what that's about for our listeners?
Yeah, so I used to draw these little cartoons on the back of work documents when I was very bad at my job, and I draw these little cartoons that are like it's a play on words. So if it's like a caveman sculpting a vase, you would look at that, and the answer would be Harry Potter. So it'd be puzzles like that. And I, over the course of a year, started posting them on Facebook, and people were I ended up doing it every Monday. Because I would procrastinate so hard that the first thing I would do on Monday at work was just start drawing.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up putting them in and making a website, which became an app. And every Monday I post a new one, and I'm nearing 500. I don't post every Monday now. I usually do like a series of maybe 10 of them, and then take a break because I've done enough now that I don't have as many ideas. But it's a good challenge. It's meant to be an exercise, um, and it can be very frustrating, but very satisfying.
You mentioned it's a good thinking exercise, which or a brain exercise, which a lot of people should do or spend some
Mm.
time to do every day. And you actually have an app for it, which I actually participate in or I downloaded. I mean, a couple I can get, but there's some that are really hard.
There's some that are very hard. Yeah, I don't make them that easy anymore.
And I've heard in previous interviews, you talk a little, especially with your background, previous background before comedy was actually into finance. And you talk about
Hmm.
a lot about, you being a big fan of math and how much you love math. And, personally, I'm a big, I wouldn't say I'm a mathematician, but in high school, I've always loved math. I've always thought it was really important for people to learn math, even though a lot of people would say, like, what's the whole point of, learning math? But, and I could never, word it correctly on what's the importance of why people should, learn math. So do you mind sharing to everyone why is math so important to you?
I just find it very beautiful. It's drudgery when you work through the little things, but when you have multiple concepts tied together very cleanly, it just feels good. Um, I would say the importance of math. When people ask why do I have to learn this, if you, math is just taking a set of facts and then you working them together to figure out what else you can determine from that. So it's someone else's line, but math is just what you can prove. That's it. Numbers happen to be one facet of math, but numbers are not mathematics. It's logic in its purest form, and it's also irrefutable. It's not like history where we just have that someone wrote that down and we have to trust it. You know what I mean? We weren't there to see it ourselves, or science. We've researched it to the best of our ability, but science is constantly changing. And what we knew 100 years ago, we've proven wrong since, or we've found quite big asterisks next to it. But math, we know those things to be certain. That if you give these constraints, then this is always true. Um, so it's really it's knowledge and logic in its purest form, and I love it for that. And I truly believe anything I've figured out in my life is because of the strength I've built because of math.